we coming from the true space. We ain't entertaining neighbors, I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space.
Record. Alright. Welcome to True Space. My name is Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Hearth and welcome back to Truspace.
And this is your weekly horoscope. So let's get into these energies. Looking on Monday, the 20th, the moon is in Aries, making a conjunction with Jupiter and in Aries as well. How do you think this energy is going to
So this is basically also right now completing this Gemini cycle with the moon in Aries, allowing us to really feel the passion, the desire to really start to be more aggressive and pay more attention to whatever we want to expand on and extract more knowledge and wisdom on Jupiter in Aries. And whatever we're gonna pick to expand and learn more about when it comes to Jupiter in Aries is gonna allow us to see more opportunity to communicate about, to learn more about, to articulate more about, to bring into a higher aspect when it comes to our early education, because that's what Gemini deals with. Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius, deal with higher education, but higher education starts with what? The early education, Gemini, the third house. So the moon in Aries is gonna make us to really react to these things that we want to expand and learn more. Just watch out that you don't be too aggressive, you don't be too pushy, and things of that nature. Because Mercury, that sextile with Mercury, can make you say the wrong things, but at the same time, it will make you really gain knowledge on the right information.
Yeah, it can make you say the wrong things, just spur something out in the moment. But maybe you wouldn't have found out certain information unless you had said those things, or maybe had reassured somebody, or to some end, because you had said something or didn't have a filter on that communication, that were able to positively impact the situation. That's for sure. And it looks like it's even making like a bridge link for that Jupiter energy with that Gemini energy, because it's making that sextile to these planets in Gemini. So it's kind of allowing Jupiter to have a better access to, aka us being able to have more meaning and reasoning in how we are doing things, while we are looking at the details, while we are kind of zooming in and understanding the details and how we navigate the details. It's kind of connected because it's in Aries, where we had that vision, or we're having that vision, or at least that's what you're supposed to be doing, knowing in terms of what you want to manifest. Aries is that vision, that visionary, that spark of this is what I want to have, and seeing it right before it all manifests. It's the first sign, it's the initiating. Aries knows winter's about to come, and knows the travel that's about to come, and it's like, boom, I envision this whole travel and all of the knowledge that I can accumulate from it. So Jupiter's in that energy now. So it's like you're kind of in the mind or in the details, but it's for a larger purpose. So you're set on that journey because better understanding, overarching understanding of the knowledge that you're going to get by doing all of that. So it's like helping. So as we're talking, and even having a mindless conversation and stuff like that, like, I honestly feel like there's a lot of wisdom that could be done, just understanding ourselves and our individual and what we want, because it's the moon in Aries, understanding ourselves as an individual and how we can direct our mind. So what we're learning a lot with these transits.
And this plays out biologically exactly how it plays out mentally, because the moon is your immune system, your white bile is going to allow you to clean out what? Your nervous system, your brain, your first house, considering what Jupiter is deals with what expansion of tissue, elasticity. Is gonna allow you to adapt a better neurology, visualization. You're gonna have a better way of holding your images and what you create as a form of cardinal fire, things of that nature. And Mercury in Gemini is bringing the oxygen to basically confirm these neurons that you're creating by providing oxygen, nourishment, things of that nature, because that's what Mercury does. It brings things towards your body. It's the messenger of the gods. It brings different areas to different organs. So that's very important too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Cause Gemini and Sag is kind of like, in a way, it's how you move as a spirit, or how you move utilizing your mind,
Mm-hmm.
as a spirit. But then that's how you move physically. So it's like the more you master the Gemini, aka the zoom scope, the Gemini Sagittarius axis, the more you can travel as a spirit. Just like how the more oxygen you have, access to your muscles, the more you can
Mm-hmm.
move and
Mm-hmm.
experience
Mm-hmm.
physicality.
This is
That's
this is
insane.
why
That's insane.
sports demand a different level of oxygenating your body. Example: long distance sports demand a different amount
Mm-hmm.
of oxygens at different durations of breathing versus short distance running, which require a different amount of oxygen, different duration of breathing. So you can see how Gemini having this respiratory system allows you to learn from just the fact you're utilizing different breathing patterns as you're utilizing your muscular system. So you could see how just going through martial arts, sports, adventures, hiking, just allow you to learn about just about everything, literally. But it's from an inside out type
Literally,
of thing
literally.
if you pay attention. The better you learn about your
Yeah.
respiratory system, the more better you learn about how marketing work in the external world, because it's based off the same nature, transportation, air element. The more you likely you're better at transporting things within your body, just imagine what you could do in the external world. This is why air signs are the best what communicators.
Yeah. 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 Hands down.
What else we have?
We have Venus in Taurus making a sextile to Neptune in Pisces as well.
Uh,
How do you think this is gonna
So
help?
based upon the love and the desires that we gonna get attached to when it comes to Taurus, our value, our stability, we could get very emotionally attached to the wrong things, and that things are gonna make us addicted to the physicality of things that's gonna get us lost by attempting to escape from reality, because Neptune and Pisces gives the sense of escaping to reality. But what are we going to escape with? We're going to escape with what? Venus in Taurus. We're going to love the wrong food. We're going to love the wrong physical things that are not providing us long-term stability, because that's what Taurus want. Taurus wants something that stands on forever. Everything's that lasts for have were ever famous. They have a long. They last for very long. For example, the pyramid. Just look the stability of the existence of the pyramids they have, and how everybody talks about them. So Venus in Pisces, no, Venus in Taurus, and with the sextile with Neptune and Pisces, is gonna give you that sense of mysticism and having faith about what you love and appreciate. But if you love and appreciate the wrong thing, you're gonna get lost in the whole Pisces energy. You're not gonna know how to direct it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this this kind of get your shit together vibe, because if you don't, you won't have things, you won't have what you want vibe that comes with to Venus. This that home is what gets Venus to it being in Taurus to understand its own talents and how it can utilize its own talents in order to maintain stability. So I feel like maybe it could be present a healthy way of you to go about your beliefs and presenting your beliefs, or reshaping or understanding how you what you are giving your beliefs to and how you're utilizing your information, because you are more focused on wanting what's physical, what's right now, what's so now you can it's giving you an opportunity to utilize your imagination to make these situations a little bit more desirable, to start blending them. But this is dangerous territory since we're talking about Venus. Just easy to get flunked out. In that, to create a narrative that supports you wanting something when it's maybe not serving within your best interest. This is why it has to be grounded in your body, Venus and Taurus. Why you have to have balance in your body, balance in your senses, so it kind of helps you to not be deceived by the illusions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's what helps you stay grounded and closed into reality, because, like, you understand this stuff, and you're willing to be hands on. Uh, for sure. All of this is squaring Saturn and Aquarius
Mm-hmm.
too. So how do you think,
Mm-hmm.
or Venus and Taurus squaring Saturn
Mm-hmm.
and
So as
Aquarius?
you're like getting these downloads from Neptune and Pisces to really value and have a faith about what you're valuing and what you're trying to stabilize, that Saturn is questioning it. The collective is questioning what you love, your desires. Is it gonna help the overall society, or is it gonna hinder us back, or is it something dealing with your own selfish desire? You wanting to associate yourself with the body so much that you want to run away from Saturn teaching you how to structure your mind, because you're so attached to the body, and Saturn is not gonna like that. So you better direct your Venus energy to love and appreciate something that's gonna support Saturn. In Aquarius, aka support your nervous system to work better, aka direct all your energy towards your nervous system, as opposed to always trying to stabilize yourself. Because the better neurology you have, the more capacity you're gonna develop to uh, have a better physical body, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And then don't let, and then this is where that square could come in and set you off, because you're starting to consider how you are going to start to receive love or likability, and wanting to add structure into that. Or that's what's practical, because Saturn's in Aquarius. And then we're even passive in that aspect because it's in retrograde. So it's more so, instead of moving forward with that type of energy on the overall, we're kind of more so defensive. I feel Saturn retrograde starts to get more so um, insecure, or that's the focus Saturn's looking at, because it's looking at those aspects that is might be compromising its integrity while it's in retrograde. So it's understanding its associates on that level at all. So now it may be questioning a lot of things, but that access with the second house with Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio is very important in you understanding your own personal self value, which could be really challenged through this alignment on Monday, because while you're trying to understand your own personal value, and you're connecting with that and understanding how to exchange energies with other people while maintaining and holding on to your own self worth and self love. There's all Saturn is making this demand for you to pay attention into how you're supposed to receive love, and how the world is supposed to treat you, and how you're supposed to go about things, while you're trying to understand, what you can provide for yourself. So it's creating this distortion where you might start equating different things for self value, or diminish your own self value for the sake of the collective, which is that challenge. This is why Neptune's kind of trying to help you develop a better belief system of what you actually believe in, or how to utilize your imagination to kind of break out of that box, so you don't feel necessarily trapped, or there's more of a mutable way for you to feel about that situation, um, instead of feeling like your self-worth is being encroached upon by your demands, because you have more an imaginative aspect to it. you can kind of change it, but then it depends on how flunked out you are in that Pisces energy and how you can move emotionally like
Hmm.
that. And then Mars is in Aries in conjunct South Node in Scorpio. How do you think this is hitting us?
So this is basically as we right now at this point we should become very wise about how we direct our passions, our desires, especially after the Jupiter conjunction and then the Chiron conjunction and things of that nature. So the in conjunction and South Node in Scorpio, the South Node is really a focal point through this entire season, and with the along the North Node in Taurus, really demanding us to detach from our vulnerabilities and everything that we keep behind the scene. So Mars and at its home ruler, it's really giving us strength to go forward and give birth to whatever we want to give birth to. But like, so there is something we're misunderstanding. There is something that because Scorpio nature, it wants to take its time on receiving and seeing, does it really desire this thing before they initiate it, while Mars and Aries could make us to really go initiate anything just based on feeling, as opposed to taking our time uh, to be fixated on it and then decide to initiate on it. So that's the whole battle. It's like it's a fight between desires.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, and yeah, and you can see the uncomfortability because while Mars is just go go go, there's a lot of things that are built up, emotionally, even from the past, that we would be running into when we're trying to shoot these desires. It's like, oh yeah, I do have, you maybe can be realizing maybe hidden shame that you have, hidden vulnerabilities,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of like a skirt, to that Mars and Aries that is just go 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 get these desires, but understanding that uncomfortability or managing that, it's an inevitable type process that you have to go. And because Mars is going at that speed, we should consider it vulnerable because it's putting us into that situation for us to deal with these things because of its catalytic type nature. So as it's going, and then you run into those vulnerabilities or those emotions for the past. It's like, well, you kind of have to confront it now, or give up on that desire, or and lose your momentum. For sure. It's a very desire filled day on Monday, but and the moon is in Aries too, so it's allowing a lot of reflection,
Mm-hmm.
um,
The,
to be held on that, and what you actually want.
Yeah, and definitely watch out if you're for all the cardinal signs, Capricorn, Libras, and things, Cancers, and things of that nature. The energy is not gonna be in your favor, so definitely correlate yourself to like what Aries wants.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or trying to understand the individual, or make sure that box is checked, or that you're considering that you're paying attention
Mm-hmm.
to that. And speaking about the cardinal signs, moving into Tuesday, the 21st, it's Cancer season. Um, so it's time to catch feelings. You know what I mean? It's that first feeling and emotion as we were going through Gemini, figuring out how to think and communicate and how to direct our minds. Now we have our first impression of how all of that is. How do you think that's hitting us?
So basically, this is the start of the summer season, the start of the summer solstice, which is basically is gonna create so much heat in the external world because this is the first sign of the summer season. It's gonna heat up the humidity in the external world. It's gonna heat up your internal body, the water inside your body, and it's gonna cause you to express feelings of wanting to create comfortability. This is the time of the period when your immune system or your white bowels work the hardest because when heat it affects your white blood cells, it causes it to work more, things of that nature. This is why it's right beside Leo, the fifth house. The more you could circulate your blood flow, the better lymph white immune system health you most likely have. So the sun right now is all about expressing things, dealing with comfortability, creating a home for what our unique stability that we're developing with Uranus and Taurus, which is getting later sextile on. So as we're approaching this Cancer season, we want to create a home for something. We want to initiate a feeling of connect to something important. That's what's gonna really be about, especially coming up from the Gemini season, the very chaotic nature of the weather. You might initiate the wrong things coming off the early degrees of the sun in Cancer. So you gotta watch out, especially in those early degrees. It's gonna be very sensitive.
Yeah, it's ripe, and the moon's in Aries too, so there's kind of that squarish um, energy, whereas you're trying to reflect and feel a little bit more comfortable now. You know, there's more of that desire to have familiarity uh, around you, or to establish some type of familiarity, some type of comfortability. So a lot of those vibes are gonna start to come in, and maybe you won't be talking at like how you were talking in Gemini season. You know what I mean, or you're not gonna be as willing to share. You know, maybe now you're wanting to go a little bit deeper into the conversations, or wanting to only share what you're finding out now with family, friends, and people that is actually close to you, and then. What that cusp of the sun entering is making a trine with Saturn in Aquarius.
Hmm.
So how do you think that
So
energy is
it's
hitting
almost
us?
playing out as the sun is in Gemini, is entering Cancer, is getting stabilized with that sense of responsibility that's coming from Saturn and Aquarius. So you don't go into this whole season of Cancer so flunked out based upon how much lack of stabilization that scatteredness that you developed in Gemini. So you could see how the more scattered you are as we're traveling through this ending of Gemini season, the more flunked out you're gonna be in Cancer season. So this you could say this trine with Saturn Aquarius is giving you the the opportunities to bring the sense of responsibility of collectiveness and create a home for it so it could stabilize the water. It's almost like you're blowing out a Gemini is mutable air, so it shakes the water. But if that Aquarius is right there, it could like push the water in one direction in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, because Aquarius is the water bearer, so it really moves the water, and this a lot having that internalize or understanding that type of energy as you're starting to start moving your water,
Mm-hmm.
kind of lets you know where your emotions lie within all of that, and less susceptible for you to be washed up under the current, or for someone to come and start directing your emotions, especially since it's so ripe in the beginning of Cancer season, when you're just developing how you feel, these impressions and all of that. So the Saturn is definitely giving that stabilization, maybe even giving you a little bit of strength, or focus and seriousness to help you deal with that impending fucking opposition with Pluto. That's going to be fucking
Mm-hmm.
terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
But the moon is conjunct Chiron in Aries. And that's making a sextile with Mercury in Gemini. How do you think that's gonna hit us on Tuesday?
So as we're emotionally reacting to our passions and desires, we're coming across this form of self-injury and this form of loss of self. That form of do we have a form of individuality to express among what Saturn Aquarius want us to participate in? That's what Kara in Aries is. Can we heal that? And Mercury in Gemini is almost like giving us the eye or the point of view to handle that from like a not emotional point of view, from a much more logical point of view, especially after being so aware of information, knowledge, and idea with the sun going through Gemini, and then the ruler of Gemini coming back from being retrograde is allowing us to develop the right information to know to how to approach the injury that happened to us with Kara and Aries. It's almost like the right downloads.
Mm-hmm. And knowing how to put it into words, knowing how to describe it.
Essentially, it's almost like getting oxygen to that one area in your brain that never got oxygen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And now you have a little bit more attention or a little bit more focus to take care of it. It's interesting, yeah, for sure. That's Tuesday. Um, Wednesday, the 22nd of June, Venus is moving into Gemini. How do you think this energy is gonna start to hit us?
So we're gonna move from this whole energy of wanting to like unify and desire what's physical, really attached to our five senses, our body, and things of that nature, into a more of a airy type of feeling, wanting to really enjoy communication, just enjoy the sense of unifying with people on a mental level, just forming ideas together, the sense of touching other people like on a mental level in a sense. Like Venus in Gemini, this is a time for like relationships, communication, like dealing with multiple people, meeting new people. Like I remember like every Venus in Gemini, you somehow start meeting more people, more relationships starts to open up. Like every single time, like Venus in Gemini never fails. If you have Venus in Gemini, like you probably been through so many relationships and things of that nature. Like this is why like people don't trust air signs in relationships and things of that nature because their whole floaty area of being non-serious into physical reality. They like the air signs. They like the idea of being in a relationship, but they don't like the physical reality of being in a relationship
Yeah,
because that trapped them physically.
the responsibilities and
That's more like earth signs. If you have an earth partner, that person, even though he's not in love with you, he will stay pay the bills and take responsibility, as opposed to like that the person who you are in relation,
hold it
yeah,
down.
the air sign and things of that nature. It can still work out. It's just gonna be different levels of love languages.
And how to balance, yeah, for sure. But you're so right on that. Venus and Gemini is definitely that socialite energy, very socially active and wanting to go and exchange ideas with other people, wanting to go and communicate. What you want to exchange with people, Venus, is words. How you're trying to establish a type of balance and exchange through communication and written word and through talking about things and directing people's minds and having your mind directed into things. So yeah, for sure, this would be a lot of time of new relationships. You're absolutely right, but also a lot of ideas, and new concepts, new perspectives of looking at things. Things that you have a new way, maybe because you're in a relationship and some, say maybe some dusty old, I don't know, beat machine, you know, it's just in the back and you didn't know it was some limited edition type thing that has that special effect with that added that special reverb. And because Venus and Gemini, you had a friend that knows music production, and when it go, you're just like, yo, shit, that's the Takashi 3000 beat machine type shit, that special limited edition. You can fix up your beats to make your beats lit like that, or you can go and sell that and make a little bit more money. Stuff like that, where you start having a new perspective of something that you had already had, a new perspective of relationships that you already have too. Start to have a new sense of value of the things that are right around you too. Getting into relationships with people that maybe were your neighbors, or things that are going to be around you. It's like, oh, I kind of seen this guy all the time, but I never talked to him. But now you talk to him, and now you guys are friends. I feel like it's a lot of that energy. And you're so right about the I'm not sticking to a relationship. This doesn't seem like it's like gonna the energy's primed for a relationship to start that's really going to last the test of time, because it's such a mutable type energy for Venus to be in, where there's so much options for Venus to go. She's kind of just testing. So if you're getting your heart broken during this transit, or getting into a relationship, just try not to catch feelings because Venus is just testing right now. So you kind of have to accept that and be if that vibe is being thrown at you, and for you to follow suit, so that you can learn to collect the information and understand how you want to be valued and appreciated and how you can balance that on a communicative level.
Hmm.
Hmm. And then what? We have the moon in the late degrees of Aries making a sextile with Saturn in Aquarius while squaring Pluto in
Hmm.
Capricorn. How do you think that's
So
gonna hit
this
us all?
form of individuality that you're about to go commute, well, you finish communicating about, and you're gonna take home the sun going into Cancer right now is really being questioned by Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn in Aquarius. Is first being checked on the point: is it practical for us to initiate a business with this vision and imagination that you're keeping in your first house, Aries? And are you also, is it going to be part of the whole collective, and is it going to be sustainable for everybody to participate in, versus selfish Aries? So because that's the moon falls in Aries, so the moon falling in Aries can make you very selfish and not really pay attention to these messages and downloads that Saturn Aquarius is giving you to really form these ideas that can help you participate in a society in a larger sense. And this is how you're gonna take your part. And Pluto in Capricorn is giving this heads up that hey, you could think and have imagination about whatever you want and desire whatever you want, but you gotta remember you're gonna have to walk with these things and create a stance that you sit on, or your knees is gonna hurt and you're gonna be working forever and working on another person's system.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And I feel like it's putting all of that pressure on to kind of help us straighten out some of the energy that we're gonna need to make it through this Cancer season, especially with the Sun and Pluto um, opposition looming. Um, that's why it's focusing on this axis point because or Moon in Aries and making us reflect on this individual aspect and our individual desires and what that means and making it square or sextile and square more generational type things for us to put it on a larger broader spectrum because we're kind of need the energy of the individual to be understood for us to establish the comfortability and familiarity that we're going to need to during Cancer season, or else that's when that square energy starts to play out and things get flunked out because if Aries energy too volatile, too commitment, too starting, too trying to give birth to things, too new, looking for new, you can never establish that comfortability. Where that slow, more refined, attention focused type thing where you start developing a connections where you can build something that feels like a family where you're not an individual anymore. You start building a family and a collection uh, around you that represents your individual
Mm-hmm.
natures and satisfies your individual natures. So it's like it's putting this tension and spotlight on it so that you can bring the right desires into your comfortability space. So what you start to surround yourself, what you start to catch feelings about, what you start to let draw your first initial impressions in terms I feel is the right desires, is the right vision of yourself, and you're mostly reacting to
And
those.
like I feel this whole cast of season is gonna make you do exactly what CZ said about bringing out bring out those feelings that's not related to Pluto in Capricorn and Saturn in Aquarius. So if you have a necessary amount of feelings, useless amount of feelings, you want to feel this way, you attend to them, you attend to my comfortability in old, outdated ways that makes no sense no more. Pluto and Capricorn, Saturn, Aquarius is gonna be a real pain in your ass because I feel this Cancer season is gonna make you realize the true home for you is going to be created and your business and status and the way you associate in society. That's the way the true home going to be.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, facts.
And like if you don't
Facts.
know, I
And
mean,
then
if you don't know ahead of that, as we're diving deeper in that Cancer season, man, you're gonna be already done, especially that full moon. I'm already thinking about that ahead of time.
yeah, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh shit. Yo, is that full moon
Coming,
gonna be near Pluto?
it's yeah, Pluto is 28-degree
Cause the moon's gonna be in Capricorn,
retrograding.
and then Pluto's right there.
Yeah, that's gonna be an intense full.
That's
That's
scary.
scary, 100%.
That's scary shit
And
right there.
it's
I
gonna
don't even know.
in conjunct Saturn too in Aquarius, retrograde.
Oh, ooh, ooh. Some new shit. Some new shit is on the horizon. That's for sure. That's for sure. Looking at Thursday, though, on the 23rd, the moon's moving into Taurus, and it's making a sextile with the sun in Cancer. How do you think this helping out? Very nurturing energy.
So the moon is going to its exaltation, where we're gonna react towards our five senses, and the more we react towards all these things dealing with the physical world, attaching ourselves to our sense of value and what makes us stable and things of that nature, is gonna allow us to see opportunity to allow us to emotionally connect with these things in our value. It's almost like I know how to work on my hormonal system, bring a sense of stability to different areas of my body. I don't know. I don't know. Not because some people are capable just to send a neurological signal. They just know how to move a body, but they don't know how to bring a stability towards it. And the sun in Cancer is providing that sense of creating a home for these different areas, for these things that you value and things of that. Because a lot of people, some people don't value their body, so their body looks in a horrible shapes and things of that nature. So you can see how the sun in Cancer is making you comfortable with your own physical body. It's really adding that sense of physicality. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And because it's the moon, the moon's like your reigning need, or it's like kind of bringing in your wants, what you really want at the moment, and then the sun's, how you're doing it and how you're going about these things. So yeah, for sure. It's a lot of, and they kind of worked hand in hand, and this is what happens if you like have like a good foundation, a good bringing up. And this is why these are like foundational things, why the moon is there, good, a mother, like having a good mother makes or breaks everything. Everything. That's the difference between a Hitler, or Mother Teresa, or she was trafficking children, so maybe not her. But so a good person. You know what I mean? But it plays on those type of aspects. But this is like, when you're emotionally responding to what you have like that, and comparing it, or is letting you see how you establish comfortability. It's kind of like having a strong foundation, like a mother who lets you understand that you have self worth, something like that, or you never diminish that, lets you know that it's easier to become comfortable in different situations, or it's easier to allow yourself to become familiar with certain things because you're not trying to establish self value, and self worth initially, if you get what I mean. So now it's like something that you already have, or a need that you already have, aka your senses. Just like how you're saying, talking about your senses. Aspects like that, those things that you already have, is providing you an opportunity to show you how you can establish comfortability, how you can bring these things together and make them incorporate them more into your self image. You know, you already have these tools or connections like that or things that you're emotionally with, and the moon's kind of making you aware of those things so you can, you know, start reflecting on them, be like, how do I feel about this, how does this mingle in with my self image, you know, these things that I have, and do they serve that?
It's gonna be easily understood because the ruler of the sun is in Taurus, the moon. So the sun being in Cancer, us are paying attention to what we need to create a home for, feel comfortable about. But it's the ruler of the moon is what we feel comfortable about, and what we want to create a home about is our values and what creates stability for ourselves. So that's important. And the sun is causing us
Mm-hmm.
to initiate
For
that
real.
too. While the moon is causing us to fixate on that. So that's important.
For us to see it in our life, you know, to see it playing out in front of us, for sure. And then Mars is in Aries, making a sextile to Saturn in Aquarius. How do you think this plays out on
So
Thursday?
Mars is in it's in ruler. It wants to take action on initiating something that it likes, but Saturn is retrograde in Aquarius. So uh that's adding, like, it's preventing Mars from being too aggressive and knowing what action to take on and things of that nature. But uh, it's adding the sense of responsibility and making sure it's being directed to the right place. So that's important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How it's yeah, adding structure. This is, it seems like it's adding, especially since Saturn's retrograde, and how the structure of things and how we're organizing things, and just authority and the motion of the world is a lot slower right now, is providing more of an opportunity for these individual catalytic things to come in and to start revealing things, and to start you, so you wanting things right now while the world's not moving forward, while you're being forced to react or respond to certain things in reality. You have this breath of fresh air for you to actually want these things and to see how you can blend them um, with your associations and Saturn and Aquarius, and what comes into the way. How can you satisfy the individual, your individual desires on that collective level, in a way where there's some type of stability.
hmm And I feel like as Saturn Aquarius is retrograding, it's reconstructing your nervous system. As Mars, it's energizing your brain and nervous system. So you have this sense of, I want to move forward, but like I gotta reconstruct some ideas and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. 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 Looking at what's it called? Friday, the 24th, the moon moving in Taurus makes that conjunction with Uranus and the North Node in Taurus, which is wow. How do you think this energy
So
is hitting us?
whatever values and form of stability that we are emotionally are getting attached to in those early degrees, especially because the moon is exalted in 3-degree Taurus. So whatever we emotionally attach ourselves into is gonna be really be tested by Uranus, the North Node in Taurus. So that's the North Node. That's what the North Node and Uranus brings every time, a test of stability of our emotional values. But the sextile to Neptune and Pisces is bringing a sense of walk with faith in the land of the unknown, the lack of stability. It's almost like I got this idea in this world that I know it makes no sense in, or I have this faith in this thing that I could bring in, even though I could see nothing right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then that's the energy of the moon, like with the North Node. So this is heavy moon energy we're coming into Cancer season with, especially just like what you were saying, how Cancer is the ruler of the moon, and then the moon is in Taurus, where the moon is being exalted. So heavy emotional feel, or where it can really be shining a light on our emotions and how we feel about these things, and but grounding it in our bodies. We don't realize this is why the moon's exalted in Taurus, and when people don't realize this is why they stress eat all the time too, or why they eat their eating habits is so connected to how their emotions and how they emotionally feel at that present moment. Because of
The,
that
oh,
that
mhm.
link, it's
This is
heavy.
why Tauruses are addicted to food. This is why we call them foodie and things of that nature. But considering that we have the whole conjunction to Uranus and Taurus, it make you really question: what do Tauruses value the right things, which is food, which is the only form of things that we need, versus the fake money, banks, crypto, and things of that nature. And like that's why where Tauruses might be really show us the true value, food.
Yeah, the that's for sure. That's for sure. And that's definitely a place where the moon can get over exalted, or when you're not bringing awareness or understanding that type of thing, your emotions can really make you take that stuff a little bit too far, especially since the sun is in Cancer. The moon loves the stability of Taurus, but it loves the caregiving, the wanting to give itself, the wanting to find comfort nature
the e-
of
the
Cancer. So
emotional addiction nature of cancer.
mhm, for sure. So I feel like it's showing a mad emphasis on your emotions, and it's going to be shown in your body through your five senses. You're really going to start seeing the connection to how you start to feel when you become uncomfortable, and how much care you have been directing to certain things that you have in your life, maybe to certain sensations and stuff like that too. Something that has been hitting you, or something that's in your body, or some one of your possessions, or an aspect of yourself that you have been maybe over um, attaching emotions to, being emotionally reacting a little bit too much, which is preventing you from actually gaining that comfortability, actually honestly doing that self-reflection. I feel like that's one thing that Cancer does a lot, where they're in that self-reflection mode a lot, but rarely are they honest with themselves about that about that self-reflection. You know what I mean? Because understandably, Cancer is like one of the most powerful signs in terms of it being ruled by the moon, which is fucking right there. That's the most impactful thing that happens to us on Earth. So that's why Cancers always have that energy. But yeah, Uranus being there and the North Node being there, it's like a challenge. It's highlighting either we're giving too much emotions to things and allowing ourselves to be too rigid, which is preventing us from um, being prepared, or having these new opportunities, taking in these new opportunities, or it's shining on the light of the emotions that we do have, that are paving the way for these new opportunities, new ways of feeling. And it's all in the body. Is really in the body, when we have Uranus and the North Node there, where we're starting to establish, and then Venus just travel through there too. We're really starting to establish different level of connection with our bodies too. And this is the North Node we're talking about. So this is God's way. This is intuition. This is further development that we're supposed to be having. So uh, a lot of signs, a lot of messages will be coming through the body a lot right now. Too, a lot of newness in that regard, and um, yeah, allowing the opportunity for you to have a healthier way of feeling comfortable, or start to understand that you have a better opportunity of finding that comfortability, especially like what I was talking about with that self-worth type stuff before. Understanding self-worth and what you have, just paves the way for you to find comfortability later on and start gathering things and start to understand how you relate with other people and stuff like that. Uranus adding this whole social aspect too, putting it on a broader stage where you're gonna have to start communicating these things or linking with people. So I feel like this is why it's throwing this heavy reflection, or we're in that time where we're gonna have to uh, be social about these things, or where transparency is forever more at a, at play, or an important, or it's a value. But yeah, yeah, all of that is making a sextile, or the moon is making a sextile to Neptune and Pisces too. How do you think that's hitting?
So like it's adding a whole more sense of like mysticism, having faith about your dreams and illusions, having faith about your value, what you're going after, because your Uranus is a very scary situation and you don't know if it's gonna work out, it's not gonna work out. Neptune and Pisces adding the sense of seeing things in the unseen and then like moving forward towards them in the North Node in Taurus.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. It's playing on the like the aspect of kind of like what we were talking about with Venus when it was in Taurus
Mm-hmm.
too, for sure. Providing that opportunity for you to apply your imagination, you know, to these things, for you to not be um, limited in your imaginations in that regard, but then with that expansiveness, it makes you so vulnerable too. So it's like a lot of other people and the belief systems that they're trying to inflict on you, and the influences that they can have, can really sneak in and try and define some of your values and how you see yourself. But you're gonna have to check yourself, and this is why grounding in the body is so important. So you know what's you. A lot of people don't realize it is not separate. Your mind and your body, your soul and your body, they are represent. It's a reflection of things. It's like condensed, but just like how my body is showing you an exact example or replication of the universe and stuff like that. The micro is, showing the macro. It's the same thing. So in terms of your emotional state of being, what's going on in your mind and all of that, that shit's in your body. That shit's all up in your body. And you can really understand the dynamics of these things by assessing how that how all of that stuff's going on. Then you can kind of start piecing, okay, what's real, and what is Pisces illusion type shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then what, Sun is in 3 degrees Cancer, making a square to Jupiter in Aries. So Sun squaring Jupiter. How you think
So
that's hitting?
your actions and your point of view is gonna go through major learning situation, because Jupiter in Aries is all about expanding and learning about your individuality, while your awareness is dealing with home domestic issues. And Jupiter is naturally exalted in Cancer, so that square is gonna be easier to handle, because Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so it's gonna allow you to really develop the proper knowledge and wisdom to know how to bring your what you're working on, what you're imagining, to what your home, your family, your domestic issues, without allowing them to go against each other, or allow your personality to separate you away from your home.
For sure. It's interesting. Cancer is kind of they kind of deal with the self. Cancer is like self protecting, while Aries is like self
Oh,
asserting
th-
type energy. So it's like the dual natures of the self. The protecting defensive side, and the exertion side of them. And then looking at Saturday, the 25th of June, The moon's moving into Gemini now, making a conjunction with Venus and Gemini. How do you think this is hitting
So we're
us?
taking all these things we want to be comfortable about, we want to add to our home, can be emotionally connect deeply to, even on an intense level, which is how Cancer end up utilizing that Jupiter exaltation to develop knowledge and wisdom based upon how much they express emotion, which allows them to go further in life. This is how they develop their immune system and things of that nature. So, uh, the moon in Gemini right now is gonna allow us to be more communicative. It's almost like open up to your family type of energy, while the conjunction in Venus and Gemini is adding the sense of a harmony, unifying through communication. It's almost like adding sense of beauty to communicating to your family, or adding more opportunities for you to do that, or feel a sense of uh, desire to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely it's interesting. A lot of like testing energies what
Mhm.
I feel coming up um this week, especially with that conjunction,
Jupiter in
because
Aries too.
it's kind of like you're playing the field. And Jupiter in Aries too. It's like you're really playing the field, trying to understand these things. And Sun in Cancer, it's crazy, not because the Sun Moon blend is way more powerful, because the Moon, uh, uh, while the Sun's in Cancer, the Sun is ruling wherever the Moon is. So it's like there's gonna be strong emotions wherever is in that area that we're gonna start to feel, and that's why all Cancer season you might start feeling moody or start noticing that your emotions are moving a lot more faster, and you're aware of
Mm-hmm.
that. You are aware of these fast moving emotions instead of necessarily being more of a victim to them.
Your the moon energy places as your white blood cells. White blood cells allow you to feel into the external world what type of like germs, pathogen that could affect you, and that's gonna make you what emotionally react immediately the same way how your white blood cells react. But your blood cells don't do the same thing. They just move forward. They circulate. They don't necessarily have the ability to reflect on their own compared to white blood cells.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I get that, and that's funny. How that even plays out, because I feel like cancers are like that, where they can give you such great
Mm-hmm.
advice, but can't do it themselves. For some fucking
Mm-hmm.
reason. You know what I mean? Or they give you the whole perspective, can wrap up the whole. Understand it, really empathize with you, and understand. How you feel. It can give you good advice to feel a little bit better. But then they're all mood swinging and shit like that.
That's the negative side of white blood cells autoimmune problem.
Exactly, exactly. Attacking things that don't need to be
Yeah,
attacked.
now you attack your own body.
Giving emotion to things.
Mhm.
Exactly, exactly. But with even in that moon in Gemini, it kind of makes you more. It's like what I was saying with that testing energy. You're testing with your emotions. With Venus. You're testing with how you exchange emotions with other people. So there's a lot of fluidity, a lot of conversation. These things trying to be brought to words. A lot of things to bring light onto, which is shedding a whole lot of light. Man, this is seems like it's starting off to be a powerful Cancer season, especially emotionally. Where remember all of those squares we were having with Mercury and Gemini and that Pisces energy, where it was hard to bring a lot of these emotions into words, our subconscious mind into words. But going through those difficulties and learning how to do that type of stuff seems like it's coming around full circle now. We're really now starting to be able to communicate our emotional states of beings in a way that starts to make sense, in a way for that we can start to relating with one another and each other, and can start understanding and start piecing out for ourselves through this medium of conversating and directing our minds on how we actually feel, and are giving us the openness and versatility to have options of what can make us comfortable, and to have a broad perspective of these type things, because it's about to get real constrictive, as progress more to the full moon, and when Pluto comes to challenge our comfortability. So it's like, I guess that's what that testing is, to add that versatility aspect to Virgo, and how you apply your emotions to things, and how you make things a part of your home, to make you that communicative, to make you
Mm-hmm.
talk about it, to allow all of these different opportunities to come up, to not give you that rigidness, so you can find comfort in multiple different areas, and now you're comfortable in the uncomfortable, or you're not pushed into a box. You're not in that. That's where I feel like that's Cancer. I don't know why. And it plays out like this shit's real. Like, with it being the fourth sign, that shit plays out as a box. Cancer, it's home. What do you live in? A box. No joke. Uh, and then look at how you being comfortable in your home really puts you into certain states of beings, and maybe you changing up your home, your state of being, or how you design your home is what's going to allow you to switch up your comfort zone, and stuff like that, and how your house, the things you set up around you, really perpetuates that emotional state of being that you want to, that you're really comfortable with. But if it's versatile, you can sustain so much more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then what? There's that sextile with the moon, with Jupiter and Aries, and we were kind of already talking about how that Gemini energy, helps with
Mm-hmm.
that. But now it's the moon, so it's our
Yeah, it
emotions.
just the moon's adding more like emotional reasoning to go towards your desires and what you want to initiate. While the Gemini is giving you all the and Mercury downloads that you need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just like with the testing, it's like, that emotionally testing is, it's allowing you to build more knowledge and wisdom on your individual desires, and giving you the freedom to expand,
It's almost like
that idea, making the broad.
it's almost like I have this imagination now. It makes me breathe this way. If this imagination is this big, I may, this is like how it works.
Mm-hmm. Facts, for sure. Looking at Sunday now, the 26th, with the moon and Gemini, in the later degrees of Gemini, is making a conjunction with Mercury and Gemini, while sextiling Chiron. So it's just more of an emphasis of what we were talking about too, and then what we're with the moon passing over Venus, and then now over Mercury. There's a lot of conversation that's been going on, which now is even enlightening me on another way how that can blend with that Cancer energy, because as a lot of the conversations going on, man, there's a lot of nonsense that's being that's being communicated too, or there's a lot of gossip. There's going to be a lot of information and a lot of perspectives that maybe we shouldn't be attaching emotion to. So while it's broadening our possibilities, we could be exerting a lot of emotions. Oh, should I care about this? Oh, should I incorporate this more into my individual? When that ain't shit. When that's just a fleeting idea, or that's not really sustaining, if you get what I mean. But this is why the communication aspect is so important in Gemini. Why we really have to talk about these Gemini energies, especially with a Gemini friend. It's like Gemini's. This y'all know what I'm talking about. This is facts. You have an idea, and now it's like, and it depends. It depends, because Gemini's are really good, witty, in the moment type deal. but a lot of times it pays off for you to communicate the things that you're thinking or saying about. So maybe your Scorpio friend or your other friends that can see behind the scenes or other situations be like, wait, don't make a joke about that. His mom died. Don't say your mom jokes right now. It's like, I know you like to do those ones, but don't say your mom. That type of stuff. Um, because there's a lot of conversation that is going on with the moon conjuncting Mercury.
This is this is us closing the Gemini cycle as we're entering this cycle of home domestic issues, and it's almost like bringing us the right information that we have developed so far through all these conjunction with Uranus, the North Node, and then Chiron in Aries, to really bring the conclusion of how far we're expanding mentally towards our home, basically. It's almost like
Mm-hmm.
you having a family talk,
Yeah, for
essentially,
sure.
a family sit down.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. That's what I started to notice. In terms of, and then it plays out that way too because the next sign is always the previous sign's second house. I first noticed that with Libra because I'm like, Scorpio is Libra's second house. So I'm like, oh, that's why I can see how Libra ain't shit, or they don't have, or how they're lying, or what they don't have. You can see what the sign doesn't have, and it's like, oh, Libra's talking a whole good game and stuff like that. You don't have this. I know. I know what you don't have and stuff like that. As a Scorpio, sometimes that's how I feel. But Sag will be looking at me and be like, you don't have this broad perspective. Look at your bitch ass, stuck in the, because they're the next state, so they see what you don't have. Sag's like, you don't have a future with that type of mentality. You're gonna stay stuck there. You're not broad. You won't be able to travel and stuff like that and all that. And then Capricorn comes in and is like, bro, you're spreading yourself too thin so far. You need to be way more concerned. So it's like every next sign sees what the previous sign doesn't have, if you get what I mean. It's really a progression of things. That being said, Cancer would be the second house to Gemini. So it's like Cancer would see what Gemini doesn't have, while Gemini sees all of these potential and it can communicate these things. It doesn't know how it feels. It's not set on a specific, emotion or thought stream or way of thinking and stuff like that. But once you start adding emotion, it's like now you have comfortability. Your mind doesn't start going into a whole bunch of different places. It's a little bit more focused because it's the power of your mind are your thoughts and your feelings. So before it was your thoughts, going around, but as soon as the feelings came in, now it's like turbo. Maybe it was like, say things are moving slow, or you can change your direction a little bit more quickly. But as you start adding emotions, you're moving fast. It's propelling you forward. So now your turns there's way more wind resistance, So you're like turning a little bit slow because there's like wind resistance going on. If you get what I mean. So once you start adding emotions, the way you direct your mind is way more controlled or more focused into areas and less scattered. So it's like that's what Cancer sees. It's not scattered. Once you start directing your thoughts on your home, once you start thinking about what makes you comfortable, once you start thinking about how your emotional state of being, and start, how do you want to feel? You know what I mean? That's what Cancer sees about Gemini. So it's like that's the interesting thing that I noticed.
And I could see how attempting to develop mental stability with all the lack of scatterness of Gemini would make you develop a better like home life, or develop a better emotional stability because your mind is all together.
Mhm. 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 And then Gemini, where and that's why testing is essential, and for you to put out dip your toes in the water and stuff like that, because that's what allowed Cancer to know how it felt, because Gemini had went out and said all of those things, now Cancer can reflect and be like, wait, that's not true. I don't actually feel that way, or I didn't mean to say that. You know, that type of stuff. How it progresses to things. And
And
yeah, that's looking like the week. Yeah.
and one thing I would like to say is that I think like cancer energy could lead to developing of like better ways of dealing with the whole biological issue of cancer. Like I would really say that family talk and like family domestic issues on an international level will lead to lower cancer levels in general on a biological sense.
Hands
Like I know
down.
that for I
Hands
know that.
down. What does Dr. Ali say? He says, clean your liver and talk about your issues.
Like exactly like if you guys heard that
And how they go
like if you
hand in
guys heard
hand.
the new Kendrick Lamar song where he talks about how Dr. Sabi helped him to clear out his sciatica nerve, so right now he could like connect that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that whole thing was so random, but I'm like, you know what? You are right because you feel clean from the inside. You more likely would like to clean the outside too.
That's facts. That's facts. It's like what I was talking about with that Taurus energy, man. The body's the real value. That's why Taurus represents the body, because that's the real thing of value. That's the product. That's the real enchilada. You know what I mean? That's the that's that's what it is. 5 pointed star. Allah. You know, arm, leg, arm, head. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the energy of the week. That's how it's looking like. If you want a personal reading to get more in depth of how these chances are hitting you, head up our site, truspace.biz. Give you some chart readings, some kick-ass medical astrology, and can really help you align with the cosmos. Our Instagram is truspace_. And yeah, like and subscribe if you fuck with the content. And catch you guys
Thank
next
you
week.
guys for listening.